Greetings, everyone, and happy Fresh Friday. This is Akunna, and we are back with another episode to help you, aid you, assist you on your health and wellness journey. Pretty soon, we will be joined by Dr. Tao, and we will get into our discussion. But before that, go ahead and drop one thing that you are thankful for today in the comments. One thing that you're thankful for, go ahead and drop in the comments. I love to use gratitude as a daily practice because it helps me and allows me to just think about the abundance that is already in my life. It's very easy to focus on what we lack, but when we focus on what we do have, it opens up opportunities for us to receive more. Very shortly. If you're just now joining, share with us in the comments one thing that you are thankful for.
Hey, Akunna, doing all right?
Yes. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm very well.
Okay.
Get that taco made too.
You finished the taco? Awesome. The only bad thing is that I'm not there to eat it.
Yeah, it's next level.
I bet. Do you have it right now? Can I see it?
Well,
no.
I think Munchie gave us.
Okay, no worries.
If you want to see a part of it bitten off, but I'm gonna probably make some more later on today.
Nice. Okay. Dr. Tao's been in the kitchen. He made a taco today that I didn't get to eat, but it's okay.
Next time, right?
Next time.
Yeah. I may be revisiting some of these herbs. I know this is Senna.
Okay.
So Senna is good for digestive health. So that's like a laxative almost. Well, I don't want to say laxative, but it does purge the body of toxins and waste in the colon. So it can be pretty aggressive, so be careful with this. Make sure that you do stay home or be out driving all day long with this in your body, because that won't be a good scenario.
Yeah. Is there something good to partner it with, to pair it with, that will
usually
kind of...
Senna is usually done by itself, typically, just because it is so strong. No, not that one. That one, I mean, if anything, you can maybe combine it with slippery and bark.
Okay.
Kind of help that bulking agent, how that mucous membrane kind of moves throughout the body. Or you can do maybe flaxseed meal.
Okay.
That would help though. The main thing about constipation, you want to kind of create that mucus. So like slippery and bark, flax seeds, quinoa, those are marshmallow root, those types of things can help the body create that type of that mucus for the body, so they can create peristalsis and segmentation throughout the colon. Remember, the colon is the earth. That's the earth, and the earth is the soul of the body. That's where every organ sprouts from. So, if I was talking Chinese medicine, they would call the colon. The colon is the earth. The kidneys would be water. The heart is fire. The liver is wood, and the lungs are metal.
Okay.
So they use that as a template to kind of see how to assess a certain issue. So one would say, how do you chop wood? What element do you need to chop wood? Metal. So your lungs is metal, and your liver being wood. A liver and lung issue are connected.
Oh, okay.
You see?
Yeah.
So but yeah, so that's how they would look at the body, you see, and they see that each part of the body is sprouting from the health of the colon, and it's more so they call it TCM, or traditional Chinese medicine type of way of looking at it. The Indians more so go into like fire or water, doshas or pitta. Pitta is fire, so if someone has too much fire, then you don't want to give them too much spicy foods.
I need to eat all the spicy food because I don't have any fire.
Indian spices are very next level for sure. Ours is more so, our system is more so air, and fire. So the lungs gives birth to the heart. So everything starts with air with us. So your breathing is what keeps your heart moving.
Okay.
And that's based off planetary movements for us. So we say Mercury moves around the sun 22 times every time Earth moves around the sun 7 times. So in mathematics, 22 divided by 22 over 7 gives you the mathematical pi, which means that our body is in correspondence to the actual solar system, meaning that for every 22 heartbeats, that healthy person's heart should beat 7 times. Or should take 22 heartbeats, the person should breathe 7 times.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't think I'm doing that.
Yeah. So we get the mathematical pi from that, which causes our body to breathe and heartbeat to beat based off the solar planetary positions.
Right.
So that means we're connected to the cosmos, even though we may not even want to see it that way. That's why we call getting your hair done, we call that cosmetology.
Oh, wow. I wondered why that was where that word came from.
Yeah, because see, your hair is the cosmos. It's your connection to the cosmos. You see. So what you have on your head, or what you decide not to wear on your head, is really exemplary of how you are connected to the cosmos, or lack of connection to it.
Okay, this might be getting a little bit off topic, but do you believe that our hair, because I know it's like our antennas and everything that connects us, like you were saying, that it holds energy?
It does. It holds energy. Yeah. They call that Kirlian photography when they take the pictures of the hair or any type of food. You can see the electricity that's coming off of it in the different color bands. So, but your hair is really just an extension of your nervous system. So, remember, whatever you do to your hair on top of your head, it's done to your whole entire body. So when you relax, when you get a hair relaxer, it's relaxing all the hair in the body. And you need hair to digest. They call it fila. You have little hairs on your colon called fila, which helps you digest food. But you just relaxed your hair, so you now just by relaxing your hair, you go into digestive issues, which throws you into fibroid tumors and cysts and hysterectomies, because the hair on top of the head represents the whole body. That's why when people get older, their hair comes out their ears and their nose, because the hair is trying to extend itself to do a better job.
Wow.
So that's just your nervous system. You know, they call it technology today. They call it cell phones and computers, laptops. But that's just your nervous system pushed out.
Wow.
You see, that's why all your devices are black. You see, it's like black cell phones, black computers. You see, black laptops. That's the neural nervous system pushed out, which you call technology. All you can do is mimic the human body. That's all you can do. You see. So we call that biomimicry, when you mimic nature to make something out of it.
There's a lot of that.
Exactly. So the antennas, the hair is there to help you, pick up information before you can see it. Help you connect the ancestors. But see, that's more so. But see, the thing about our ancestors in ancient Kemet, they were more so into fashion, but they wanted to change their hairstyle a lot. So the ones who were in the higher class would shave their head, and they would make a wig out of their hair. But they would have like 20 wigs to wear, because they didn't want to be spending all day long trying to get their hair done. So they would shave their head and then put a wig on for an event. But they got an event next week too, so they get another wig for that, you see. So they were more so into fashion, you see.
I see.
You see, so that was more so people always question, the answers they shave their heads. Well, that was more so, that's more so the aesthetic purpose of that. But they saw having hair as being closer to animal nature, so they wanted to separate themselves from that. So your hair is based off your way of seeing the world, you see. But they would shave their face, the men, and they would put a fake beard on. But see, that's because we didn't understand that the beard represents the goat. And they want to ascend higher, because the goat goes to the highest mountain to get the minerals and the salt that no other animal can get. So it went to ascend like the ram. You see, that's why you see Amun. Amun is the ram. Um, that's the beard, the goatee.
Okay.
You see, so they do those things to kind of represent certain higher principles of the animal kingdom.
Yes. We do have
a lot of snakes and stuff on their head, and represents. Those are just the because we know snakes are the wisest. Well, in our culture was the wisest creature. You know, because well, there's a lot to study about the snake. I don't want to go too much. Yeah, something you want to say, Akunna?
I was just highlighting this comment. Somebody asked, so dye on the hair isn't good?
Not the artificial dyes out here. You can make a dye. We did a video on that, on the indigo leaves and the henna.
Right, because there's
So
a whole lot of chemicals and such in conventional hair dye that can actually leach into our scalp and such.
Yeah. Remember, anything you put in your body is going to your liver. And your liver has to deal with that.
Right.
So technically, anything you put in your body, you should be able to eat it, technically. You know, so the liver is always being taxed. Even listening to music, any sound over 90 decibels causes liver damage. Okay. So 90 decibels would be about as loud as someone mowing their lawn, like a grass mower, or someone cutting their grass outside. That's about 90 decibels. Anything louder than that causes liver damage.
Wow.
And your liver is what keeps your energy stabilized. It helps you digest food, dilutes toxins in your body. So whenever you put certain chemicals in the body, it's causing the damage to your liver, which is causing damage to your ability to maintain energy, which is causing damage to your melanin, which is your ability to be black.
Wow.
So you're damaging your ability to be a whole person. You see. So the thing about it is we're never really truly accessing our melanin. We're using our melanin for things that we shouldn't be using it for. We're using our melanin to get toxins out the body and stuff. No, we're supposed to be using our melanin for the psycho-spiritual aspects. But the body's so, inundated with tasks that are, digestive related or just toxins related, that it can never tap into its true etheric, cosmic, chemical fluid that it truly is. So we get stuck into these basic things about the liver or the melanin, and we can't really access our true melanin, which makes you a black person or a whole person or a human person.
Wow.
So, but if you don't study melanin, then you haven't studied chemistry. So all you have to study is melanin and the basis of melanin, which is carbon. So if you don't study those elements and those chemicals, then you're not studying chemistry. You're studying social castration or socialization.
Wow.
You're studying a social science, essentially. So
yeah.
we have to distinguish between chemistry and physics and socialization. Those are two different things. We've been socialized to believe in prophase and anaphase and telophase and the cellular division. We've been conditioned to believe in those things. We've been conditioned to believe the sun is hot. We've been conditioned to believe that which goes up cannot come down. We've been conditioned to those types of beliefs. You see, but nature doesn't prove that. Those clouds stay up, they don't come down. Things that are up can stay up. So we use that same thought process in the way we deal with each other. Someone who becomes famous has to become their character has to be destroyed at some point. So we can't build the person up without tearing them down. So it follows a whole file of thought. We call that thought residues. A thought residue is what you think about one thing ends up being how you think about everything.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And that seems to be how the programming and the indoctrination in these schools and such, it just like sticks so well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful of these programs that we adopt to be part of our being and make sure they are most beneficial for us.
Right.
And the meta nature that says everything you do in life will either be will be life harming or life sustaining. Or it says life threatening. Everything you do in life will be either life threatening or life sustaining. everything you do in life. So you got two things. Either what you're doing is going to be good for your life or detrimental to your life.
Right. I said that at one point, and I'm like, I don't want to break it down and make it seem like it's so simple, but pretty much every decision is either good for you or bad for you. Not that
Exactly.
they're good and bad, but it's either elevating you or bringing you down. It's not just keeping you the same. So.
Yeah. So,
So I know that we can't stay on here for much longer. However, I do have one question because we touched on henna and how it has like a laxative effect.
mm,
So what is an herb that is good for the opposite? If somebody's having like really loose or runny stools, what is something that can help them firm that up, either food or herbs?
I was trying to come in there. So really, any type of running stool or something like that, that's also constipation.
Mm.
See, what happens is we have the pendulum swing. We have the pendulum swing of diseases. So anything can show itself as a male principle or a female principle. The male principle of starvation is anorexia. That's female principle of starvation is obesity. You have low pressure, high blood pressure, and low blood pressure. So you have hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. So diarrhea and loose stool is the same thing as being constipated. The body decides to take its water supply and push it into the colon to get rid of it. You see, so it's still a sign of constipation.
Wow.
So if the person will stop being constipated and that the loose stool will go away, that's just the body taking its own intelligence, taking its water, throwing it into the colon, and to rinse everything out. You see, so I would still give them the same thing because I'm just looking at the same pendulum. I'm just looking at the same disease at a different pendulum. You see.
Wow.
So that would still be some type of cascada, sagrada, or senna, something like that would help them from not being constipated.
That's so interesting to think of because most people would think it's complete opposite.
It's the same thing. It's coming at you backwards.
Yeah.
Coming at you from this a different pendulum. Because every nature is bipolar.
Mm.
You see. So what makes a society is how to use those poles. We call that threshold, pain threshold. When you know to get in a situation and when to get out of a situation. And that's triggered by your nervous system. We call it your fight or flight response. So you give a child some math problems or some homework to do and they want to do it, that's a fight or flight response. Their nervous system can't deal with if they don't want to do the homework. So that's a nervous system issue. Their fight or flight response is triggered, so I can't do that math, I don't want to do it. That's your pain threshold. Your pain threshold is created throughout your childhood by your mother and your father. Your mother gives you the ideology to stop. Your father gives you the ideology to go. So stop and go is on every emotion. Those are nodes on every emotion. And everything you have is a stop and go threshold there, which is given to you during your childhood. So when someone says, I'm out, I can't deal with this anymore, it went outside their parameter of pain, which is a rubric for your ability to grow as a human being. So when you step outside of that and you don't want to challenge your own threshold you've been given, then you become stagnant into your way of being raised, and you never become an improved person upon your childhood. You stay stuck at 8 years old. Wow. Even though you may be 48 now, you're stuck at 8 ideologically and psychologically because your pain threshold never changed. A grown-up should be able to endure more pain than a child.
Right.
Which stops you from crying. Babies cry all day because they're truly all frontal lobe action. Wow. They just go into what their responses are. So we become become bigger and then become grown-ups, but we still have those similar parameters on our emotions, which causes us to stay in that same way of thinking and way of being. So it gets deeper into that, but I'm just saying that's the main thing to understand when it comes to threshold pain and everything. So,
wow.
But nature works in halves. So nature works in the same amount the pain, the same amount the gain. So it works in halves. Everything works because energy can't be fulfilled unless it goes 180 degrees. So energy has to go 180 degrees before the other half can be filled. One half is physical, the other half is spiritual. You do your physical.
Oh, I
If you
see.
do your physical half, then the spiritual half will take care of itself.
Mm.
You go
If
to the
I,
gym, work out, and you get the results based off. You don't get the results in the gym. You get the results by going to the gym and working out.
right.
So all nature wants you to do is to do your 180-degree half. But we don't want to go through any type of discomfort because that's given to you during your childhood. You see, it comes back at you, and therefore we become stagnant in that way of being, which causes you not to really grow. And
Definitely.
nature has a certain disdain towards stagnation.
Mm.
When things
Yeah.
become stagnant in nature, it wilters and dies.
Yikes.
See, so
That makes
we don't
sense.
want stagnation, truly.
Yeah. Even in my 30s now, I found that there are certain like perceived limitations that I have for myself. And when I notice them, I always try to push past them. Just yesterday, I was doing a breathwork session and my hands started locking up like this. And I got so scared. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And it was in hypnotherapy. And she said, yes, you can. And just her voice telling me that, I repeated that to myself, yes, I can. So I kept doing and breathing my way through it, and I got over it. But that was like really emotional for me because I realized that that whole limitation of I can't do this came from something in my childhood that made me think that I could not get over a certain thing. So being able to push past that even in my 30s, I'm like, this is true growth and true healing. So it was a
Exactly.
beautiful
Yeah,
moment for me.
the greatest thing in life you can ever do is to overcome your own dysfunction.
Mm,
That's all we're trying to do is overcome our own dysfunctions.
right.
So once you overcome that, then the gems of life are there. That's when things start to really get really good. There's a saying that says once you master the verbs of life, the nouns of life will be given to you.
Mm, I like that. I like that a lot. Wow. I need to write that down somewhere. All right. Well, we're not going to keep you too much longer because I know that people are ready for their Fresh Friday, ready to get some
Yeah.
food. So thank you as always, Dr. Tao.
Appreciate
And
you.
thank you to those that are watching, whether you are watching live or catching the replay. This has been Fresh Friday. The restaurant is open until 3 p.m. today. So go on in, get you some good food, post some pictures so I can live vicariously through you. And we will be back for another Fresh Friday next week.
All right. I'll see you later. All right.
See you.